Thank
Lopa,
you.
how about you? Like for your brand, when you established your brand in order to acquire those early customers, which channels did you use and how much, uh, like what was typically your monthly marketing budget that you spent and how much ROI have you seen so far on a monthly basis? Yeah.
Sure. So we're a brand that really grew on Facebook. That was Facebook marketing was our primary channel. We still acquire about 60% of our new customers through Facebook. And when I say Facebook, obviously that's Instagram too, and kind of the same mix. And for us on the brand side, we're a challenger brand. We're a disruptor brand. We're challenging the idea that your favorite morning beverage is a good thing, and that comes with its own challenges itself.
True.
And as such, you also have to be kind of bold. And I started out where authenticity is very important to our brand, transparency is very important to our brand, and I love marketing and I hate being marketed to. And I can always smell the sale. And so I think just naturally, because when we started out, it was just me and I was writing all the copy and everything. And so everything felt like people were like, wow, I don't even feel like I'm being marketed to, or, well, it feels like I'm just, getting a message from a friend or something like that. And so it started out that way in this kind of very informal tone. And I think that that was actually part of what helped us build. And we had a few ads particularly that we did a tremendous amount of business on. I think that feeling of I'm not being marketed to, I'm not being sold, like I'm just kind of engaging with this brand. And now the brand is obviously a lot bigger than just me. But we still carry that kind of informality forth. We break the fourth wall quite a bit of like, this is an ad. We are trying to sell you something. And I think that people get a little bit disarmed by that. And they're like, oh, wait, now I'm engaged. Now I'm curious. So I think that's been a big part of our success there. In terms of ROAS, basically we scale the ad as much as we can on a roughly 2x ROAS, and that sometimes we get way more than that, sometimes we get less and we stop the ad, but that's basically like, if we're getting more than that, then we just pump that ad as much as we can until we are sort of settling at that 2x, and that's across the whole account. We have done some Google advertising as well, and we found some struggle with that actually. And I finally got like some insight on that from the CEO of Hawk Media. I watched a webinar from him a few weeks ago, and he was mentioning that Google is a great place to capitalize on existing demand, but not necessarily generate new demand. And so for a really innovative product like ours, we're out there creating demand the whole time. And so we were like, why isn't this Google thing working? We did great on our branded ads, of course, but on the non-branded, it felt like fits and starts and wasn't quite working. So we scaled that back a bit. And just to, really focus on what it is that we're doing. And with Facebook, it's a little bit nerve-wracking as a CEO to have so many of our eggs in that one basket, because there is volatility there. As we, in the election cycle, ad spend's only getting more expensive, and ads are only getting more expensive in general anyway. I mean, we saw with COVID, there was, the CPAs went down significantly because people were spending so much more time on their phones. But generally, that trend has been only going up, and it's going to continue only going up. And so, I think that there's also that piece that we're looking at in terms of, okay, where do we start looking at other channels as well? We have had success with podcast advertising. And we've done a little bit of print, but we found that also was ridiculously expensive. Elizabeth, have lots of compassion for you there. We weren't even close to the 120,000 range, but we were like, ugh. And we're a DTC brand first, so getting those digital touch points and being wherever the customer is and having a lot of access there. We still do quite a bit of display advertising and retargeting that way.
So 2x. So 2x is I think it's a good number, I believe, because that ROAS of 2x is good enough. I mean, and once you have acquired your early customers, I think they become your brand ambassadors and they kind of make the word out there. And I think those early adopters play a huge role, I think, and especially new customer acquisition, that what you mentioned, I think, yes, channel makes the difference, especially comparing Facebook versus Google ads. definitely Facebook or Insta will surely work. Thank
Yeah.
you for sharing that insight, Lopa. Uh,
Yeah.
uh,